Hey gorgeous, welcome back to Castle Becca. Girl, today we are going to do us a full face tutorial with a twist. I am actually going to use as many BoxyCharm products as possible because I just realized I have like so many tools and so many products from being with them for 9 or 10 months now. I started with them. My first box was in January of 2017. So I've collected a whole lot along the way, and I figure why not? Let's just give her a shot and see what I can make work. And I really wanted to do a tutorial with this palette anyways, so let's dive right in and get going. We are going to start off with my primer, and this is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. I got this a while back in one of my BoxyCharm boxes. I love it. This is some good stuff. And you know what? I think I got this like in March. I'm barely halfway through the bottle, girl. So if you go into Sephora and grab yourself like a little mini, the little travel size deluxe mini, whatever, it's gonna last you a hot minute, and it's totally worth the 16 or 18 bucks. Totally worth it. Just threw on some of my favorite concealer. This is the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Illumination, and I legit cannot live without this. If I had one ride or die product, girl, this is it. And today I am using the Power Fabric by Giorgio Armani for my foundation. I actually got this in one of my boxes, and I've been loving it. It's a little bit expensive, but girl, it is so worth it. I love it. So I'm gonna put one pump in there and see how it goes. This brush is kind of small, so I feel like it's gonna take a minute to get my foundation on. Yeah, already I can tell you I wish I would have used my beauty blender, but it's not doing too bad of a job. So I got my foundation on, but honestly I'm not sure how I'm feeling about the brush because I feel like I used twice as much product or more than I normally would with my beauty blender, which is my preferred method. But I will say that it did blend it very well, and I like that it was actually small enough to get all up under my under eye area, which sometimes can be a problem if I'm just trying to use the larger size of my beauty blender. So that's kind of cool. It's still a nifty brush though. Alright, so moving on, I added some of my favorite BH Studio Pro concealer to my under eye and did a little bit of contouring with that. So we are going to set that with the Highlight and Contour Kit by IBY Beauty. I got this in a BoxyCharm box a couple months ago. And we're just going to go ahead and set my concealer with number 2. And yeah, it's kind of like a nice light banana color, and I cannot live without banana powder, girl. I don't know why. We are also going to use this palette to do my contour, and I'm going to go in with the Crown Brush Jumbo Kabuki Fan Brush, both of which we got in BoxyCharm, and I think today I'm going to go ahead and use contour number 2. It's more of a warm tone, and I'm going to use that to warm up my cheeks a bit. I haven't really been doing like cut your face right up contour. I've been kind of doing what I call lazy girl contour and just kind of blending her on and calling it good, and I've actually been really liking it, but I haven't used this brush in a while, so let's take her out, show her some love, and throw it right on just directly beneath my cheekbone there. And just go back and forth, though this is like really big, so it's hard to like kind of stay way up back. You want to keep your contour kind of high and try to not make it go down your whole face there so that you don't elongate your face too much. I went ahead and finished the contour around my face with contour number 3 right here, the darkest and coolest toned one in the palette. And I just lined my jawline and around my face, did a little bit up top here as well. And now we're going to move on to some blush. This one I got in my BoxyCharm this month, and it's the Luminous Loose Blush from Studio Makeup. And you can see it on there. It's a really pretty dusty brick red, and I feel like it's a nice universally flattering blush shade, so I'm really digging it so far. I'm gonna tap that off, girl, because this stuff is fairly pigmented, so go in gently if you got this in your box this month. See what I mean? And then this is the brush that I got last month, I believe. And then I figured since I don't use this very often, I would whip out the Temptu and BoxyCharm liquid highlighter. It's called the Liquid Glow, and I'm going to use the Crown paddle brush that we got to apply it. And basically with this, I like to shake her up good because, girl, just make sure you shake it up good. And throw a little bit on my fingertips and kind of pat it on and get a good couple of drops on it. Ooh, way too many couple of drops. Okay. And I like to pat her on a bit and then use the paddle brush to kind of blend her out. It's actually a really pretty liquid highlighter. I really like it. And I was thinking I will dust on some powder highlighter later on to really make that cheekbone pop. All right, sweetness, we are going to move on to the brows, and I'm actually going to use two brow products that I got from BoxyCharm. Of course, and obviously, I'm going to go in with the MAC Brow Pencil in the shade Lingering, and I'm going to fill in my brows, but unfortunately, this is not my shade, and I feel like it's kind of a lighter formula anyway, so it doesn't do a fabulous job at lining my brows, but it is really nice for filling them in, so I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to move on to the Brow Gal palette, because I literally cannot live without this thing, girl. It is just, it is awesome. So I'm going to start off by also using the Brow Gal brush and spoolie tool that we got in our BoxyCharm with the Brow Gal palette. And I'm going to brush my brows out just a smidge, and I'm going to fill them in a little bit with the MAC pencil and go back in with my Brow Gal palette. Just going to do like quick little swipes here. Just really get kind of a good idea of where I want to go, and I know I'm kind of doing it backwards generally. Mostly everybody outlines their brows first and fills them in, but I feel like I get a more accurate idea of where I want to outline my brows if I fill them in just a little bit first. Plus, my brows are really sparse and it's kind of hard to tell where they are. Even when I let them grow back, girl, they're so sparse and patchy, it makes me so mad. Alright, gorgeous. So I got this one on, and it's not perfect, but it ain't bad either. And honestly, once I stopped trying to perfect my brows, I feel like they started looking better than they ever really have. So girl, if you're stuck on your brows, stop trying so hard, stop trying to perfect them. They will turn out eventually, okay? Words of inspiration right there. So now I'm going to go in with the darkest color and outline my other brow and fill it in a little bit with that shade as well. I believe that this is technically the brow pomade, though if you ask me, it's like a slightly heavier powder and less like a wax or pomade, honestly. But I'm going to use that, so we are going to get going, and I'm going to use the liner side of my little tool here to get that done. And I like to start down here at the tail. Get my little mirror. I feel weird. I can't do it in my big mirror right here. I gotta have the little one. So I like to just start on the tail and get that lined and filled in. And then I feel like once you've got that done, the rest just kind of comes together. And then we are going to start down here and just underline that baby right there. and then fill her in, going all the way up to the top. Now, for the most part, I don't really like heavily outline the top of my brow. I just kind of fill it in and push her up. And I feel like that really does the trick. And that way it doesn't look like there's just like a line of product on your face, you know what I mean? And then once I get to the bottom inner part of my brow, I like to take that line down here and just kind of blend her up a little bit. No need to add a bunch of product to the front of your brow, just kind of blend her in and it does just fine. So next up, I'm going to throw on some eye primer. I don't have one from BoxyCharm. So I'm just going to throw on my current favorite, and that is the Too Faced Shadow Insurance Candlelight. As you can see, she's been through some ish, but it's one of my favorites. It's a nice, like, highlighty eyeshadow primer, so I'm going to go in with that, and we will move on to the eyeshadow. Alright, darling, so I got my eyeshadow primer on, and I used the Pur Minerals translucent setting powder to set my primer. And finally, we are going to throw on some of the Pur Minerals Soiree Diaries eyeshadow on, and we are going to start off with, yes, I'm going to start off with this shade right here and just kind of start the transition in my crease. Now, the one thing that I will say about this palette, and especially the mattes, they are very powdery and they do take some building, so I wouldn't recommend going in with the lighter shades at all unless you're just trying to do something kind of subtle as far as an eye look goes. So that's why I'm going in with the darker color to start with. And we're just going to throw her all on up there with my favorite blending brush. This one I didn't get from BoxyCharm, but it is my favorite blending brush, and I always use her to start off with. We're going to use the crease brush from the Moda Pro collection that we did get in BoxyCharm, and I'm going to go in with the shade right here and add some more transition colors to my crease area. And just gonna, I'm gonna kind of focus it on the outer area, but blend her on towards the inner corner as well. But this time I want to warm it up a bit, so we're going to go with this matte shade right here and kind of in the same area, get her right on the outer corner there and blend her out towards the inner. And just really make sure that those colors are blending well before moving on. We are going to take the same brush again, but we're going to go in with the darker shade right here. This is the warmer of the two darker shades, so I think this will work perfectly with what I'm trying to do. Now with this one, I'm going to stick to just the outer area, and we're going to call her good. Alright, baby doll, so this is where we are at so far, and don't worry if the darker matte shades aren't like perfectly even on both eyes. We are going to be blending some of these shimmers out and making it work, girl. So I'm going to go in with one of my older BoxyCharm brushes. This is the Royal & Langnickel Omnia brush set, and this is the shader. I'm going to go in with some of my Sephora setting spray and just give her a good little squirt there. Not too much. Don't use too much setting spray on your brushes with these shimmers. You're going to be sorry, girl. So today we are actually going to go in with this shade right here. It's a really pretty, like, honey brown sugar shimmer shade, and I'm really digging it for like everyday looks and such. And we're just going to throw some on that shader brush and blend her on. And we are going to blend some of this over that darker shade, which is why you ain't got to worry too much about them being perfectly even, girl. We're just going to blend her on over. So I don't know why this side wanted to get all kinds of patchy on me, but girl, she did. So if that happens, just take what's left on your brush. No need to add any more product. It probably will just make it worse if you add a bunch more product, to be honest. So just blend her out the best you can and see if you can fix it. And then we are going to move on to the eyeliner. So I'm going to add the Bella Pierre Gel Eyeliner in number 2 Ebony, and we just got this in our BoxyCharm. I'm going to throw it on my lower lash line, and then I'm going to tight line my top lash line. Right, gorgeous. Since we're running a little short on time, I just went ahead and skipped a couple of steps. Girl, I cannot wait to get me a real camera one day. I will too. I will. And we will no longer have to skip ahead anymore. Ah, I'll dream for now. Alright, so I decided to smoke out my lower lash line a bit with these two shades. And then I went ahead and used the Artist Couture Diamond Glow Powder in Illuminati. This was something else that we got in our BoxyCharm. I used that to highlight my underbrow and my inner corner and my bridge of my nose and my cupid's bow as well. And now we are going to go in with the Cargo Cosmetics Gloss in Umbria because, girl, I cannot decide on a matte lippy. And I haven't used this one in a while. It's like one of my favorite lippies ever. As you can tell, it's almost gone. And we're just going to throw this on and call her good. This is the final look. I'm digging it. Plus, girl, if I have anything to say about it, we need to bring back the glossy lip trend. I am tired of dry, liquid, matte lippies, and as nice as they look, I prefer glosses anyway. So I'm starting that trend back up today, so jump on board, babe. But for now, this is the final look, so let me know down in the comments what you think of this tutorial, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, because, girl, I got some awesomeness coming your way later this week. I simply cannot wait! Oh, but in the meantime, that is it for today, so go out and spread some love and positivity today, baby. We could all use some extra. You're beautiful, and I love you. Mwah. Bye, everyone.